Hello and welcome to the first round of the Chennai Olympiad in India. We have played the first round yesterday, and this will be the recap and some a little bit about how the Olympiad is conducted and how it's going and what to think of an Olympiad. For most of you out there have probably never been to Olympiad, and it's a bit of a special occasion. We're also going to see a game that's going to be very instructive because it sort of shows how the master beats the amateur, which is the setting for the first round, where the difference in strength is very big between the players. In Denmark played against Qatar, and we won 3.5 point. We are of course always hoping for 4-0, but we almost lost on the board 1, where Mads Andersen got into trouble with black, but managed to hold the draw. He would not have held that game against a much stronger opponent, I'm sure. But he played against a decent IM and had to concede a draw. The Olympiad is 187 nations are playing here. That's of course not, well, our teams are participating. There are India 1, 2, and 3 and so on, and there's also some with different kind of disabilities. I think hearing problems and and blind people and so on. And that's of course nice that this is Gens Una Sumus, as Fia says. We are all one big family, and it is a spectacular thing here, seeing players like you have Aronian sitting in the same room as a lot of players with 1400 and rating that is of course from a completely different planet chess-wise, but we're still all part of the same spectacular scene. The Indians are doing everything they can to make this a great Olympiad. They have had something like 3 months to organize this event, which is not enough for anyone, but they're doing what they can. They have some problems with organizing a little bit of things, like the transportation is to be honest, it's a mess. Last night the night before, after the opening ceremony, it was a total chaos with the buses. They had no plan for how to get 5,000 people from one stadium out of there, and yesterday, when the last game was finished, some people had to wait 1 hour in the bus, which is a little bit too much. I think I have made some suggestions for the organizers. But the thing is, they are sort of divided. The transportation is one company, and the organizers are another company, and so on. And I'm not sure they read my mails, but I'm hoping. I have had some suggestions for them. For instance, that departing 1.5 hours before the game starts is a bit too early. It takes a lot of time from preparation and so on. Anyway, let's go quickly through the round. Well, then there was no upsets. All the favorites wins. This is typical for the first round, where the differences in strength is vast. It's just too big. I don't think I remember ever having seen. Sometimes a team messes up completely and plays 2-2 or something, but losing is more or less out of the question. As we said, Mads Andersen with white, with black got into trouble, but managed to draw. Jesper Typo on board 2 won very convincingly. When first it started to be real game after the opening, the opponent completely collapsed. The same happened on board 4, and then we have board 3, where Allan, Stig, Rasmussen won a game that's very instructive, and it is good for us and our Caracan repertoire. It's sort of a reminiscence of the Nimzowitsch Capablanca game we have seen much earlier here, and it's a good game. And the Olympiad, of course, the big favorites are the US, with a team consisting of Sam Shankland, who's a real American, and then 4 players who are all imported and have played for other countries. and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not sure I really like that. It's sort of, can you be a patriot for two countries? I don't know. But okay. Well, I'm sure they of course fight hard for their new country, but I don't know. The problem is that their old country, like Armenia and Cuba and Philippines, they're really missing their big stars now. So I feel a bit sorry for them. They sort of invented these people. I think Caruana is a little bit different because he is half American, even though the Italians probably trained him more than the Americans did. Anyway, let's get into the game. Yousuf 21-20 against Allan Stig Rasmussen 25-50, and this is the advance, and this bishop d3 is not the best move probably, even though this Anton Demchenko, the European champion, has played it. And e6, and here white makes a mistake. I think he has to play this move, knight e2, to first of all avoid the exchange of queens. Second of all, because you would like to have the knight here, where it can sometimes jumps here and control this square where black would like to put a knight. So knight e2 is the right move. He plays knight f3, and Allan conducts the standard maneuver here, known since Capablanca won against Nimzowitsch, and black is already fine. He's not better, but in a practical game, I think he is better here. And white exchanged, and we simply have a normal position here, but of course this is easy to play for black. c4 is interesting decision, not trying to use the c file, but deciding to try and open with the b file here. Here white might try something like this. This could be a possibility. He played this, and after b5 it's already too late. Black is in time, and white plays rather passively throughout the game, just trying to hold on and not lose something, and that's, in general, that's not a good suggestion. In Tiger Chess by the late Simon Webb, he recommends that when you're playing against stronger opponents, mess it up, make it a mess, because you have bigger chances of something tactical happen when there's a mess. When it's just going like this, well, it's not easy to play against a stronger opponent. f5, interesting move. f5, a big decision. Black decided that he does not want to allow f5, and white can of course take en passant, and if he does that, we'll have a interesting structure here, where I think Allan would be hoping to do something in the c file. Also, this bishop might be good. The thing that's problem after a5 is, now it's clear that this bishop here is bad, and it was always going to be a bad bishop, but it's also clear that it's not going to do anything unless you take on f6 and hope to get something with f5 in. That will also let all black pieces spring to life. He plays knight f3, continuing the strategy of just standing. And of course, black's plan is to play b4 at some point and start an attack against white's queen side. King d7, bishop d2, bishop e7. And it's all going according to plan. Rook b1. And here Allan decides to keep some pieces on the board. He does not want to. He see that this constellation here is a little bit clumsy, so why not wait until we're ready and play b4. King f2, rook b7, keep preparing, being very patient here. And now it's time for b4. And of course, this is very, very standard play. There's a lot of pressure down here. Oops. Oh, sorry. And of course, black is better already, clearly better. The question is how to win this. And we see that white found some kind of maneuver, but he's really passively placed. You can see he cannot move any of the pieces, more or less. It's almost so. What would black like to do here? He would like to make a combination of something. Pressure here, pressure here, pressure here. I'll make them red. And maybe taking over this A file or taking over the B file. And what can white do? Basically nothing. So black can maneuver a little bit, being ready to do them here. The first threat he's creating is this, and trying to win a pawn here. So white has to do something about that. Knight f3. But the thing is that when the bishop left here, there's no winning something here yet. But you can play like this and back, and now this is a threat. So white has to move. And the thing is, what you're after with black here is what we call micro concessions. You're just trying to keep improving your position and improving your position. At some point, white will simply crack. This is also what happens in the game, and it's very typical, because you cannot have a position like this with and survive against a good player. It's just not. Well, sometimes it happens, but it's in general, it's a very bad strategy to try to hold on to something like this against good players. And we see this, there's another trick here, and also maybe something coming like this, or this coming, and a6, preventing knight from coming here. Not that was a big threat anyway, but just in case, it might go here, and here could be annoying. So why not just prevent it? And sometimes this will come. So knight e1, knight a5, and we see there is another idea for white here. That is to for black is to go here, and already it's really starting to be a mess for white. And here is an interesting point. The rook here is threatening the pawn, or is it? Boop. That's an interesting move. The thing is, after something like this, you probably black just play this move. No, not this move. Wait a minute. No, the rook is now out of the game. So let's see how we to play this. And this cannot be threatened or anything. So maybe we'll play this move first. Attacking the knight. After something like this, play this move, attacking the rook. And after something like this, we win the exchange. And notice this nasty knight here is keeping everything under control. So that's a typical micro tactics. So after rook a7, he has to exchange. This is something black, in general, he would like to exchange one rook if he could make that rook active, the other rook active, and keep white's rook passive. White keeps, and we see this. It looks like white is very solid, right? This one is this knight is covering here. The rook is covering. This is also covering here. Everything is sort of under control. The problem is you don't have any moves, and a rook like this is always a bad sign. And you could take here. The problem is this, and black got everything on this one here, and we can see that if that falls with the bishop surviving, then white is just totally toast. Rook's knight c1, contesting the annoying knight here. And what do black play here? Well, it's pretty obvious. Boop. Use the whole board. And ready to invade with the bishop. Or no, maybe not. Now c3 is under attack. And here comes an interesting move, b3. And the thing is, which is kind of funny, is that white is being pushed so much back that he will have not enough space, and the knight, of course, can always get out here. And then black will simply do something like this. And white will will not be able to withhold the pressure, and at some point something will be sacrificed somewhere, and on d4 or c3, and the b pawn will queen. This, of course, is totally hopeless, because after something like this, white is already losing a pawn. And here is an important moment. You could take the pawn, and it's probably good enough. But why? Because you can always take the pawn. And this is also typical for strong players like Allan, is to not be... you don't have to... you can just wait and keep control. And that's also nasty. And white resigned. So that was a very typical game for master against amateur. White got into a position without prospects, played passively, and was slowly squeezed to death. We saw a lot of games like that yesterday in the Olympiad. That's very typical. A lot of the matches ends 4-0 to one of the parts. This was the first part of the Chennai Olympiad edition. We will have more later. Thank you for watching. This was GM Talks with Grandmaster Sune Berg Hansen. Also, I'm the team captain of Denmark, so I have some leverage in this.